So in this video, we're going to talk about some of my favorite nootropics, or supplements that can be used to increase brain function. We're going to also get into a few pharmacologics if that is something that you want to pursue. So to keep the video somewhat concise and not go into a rambling nerd fest, I'm going to be a little bit quick and describing each one of these, and then we're going to cover some of the ones that I didn't have with me, but that can also be helpful. We'll talk about a few prescriptions that I know from anecdotal cases clients have found to be helpful, and you can use this evidence to kind of experiment and use it as a jump-off point for putting together your nootropic stack. So first, one of the ones, a supplement that's been demonized a lot lately is caffeine, and in some cases, undeservedly so. Yes, if you are sensitive to stimulants, if you take caffeine and you find yourself feeling jittery, anxious, uncomfortable, you're either A, taking too much caffeine, you may have adrenal dysfunction, or it may actually be the coffee and the proteins in the coffee that are your delivery mechanism for the caffeine that is causing the issue. And that's part of the reason that we're not gonna recommend some of the espresso or coffee-based products, even the ones that are loaded up with butter and other fats that have become popular, because there was a study done by Cyrex Labs that looked at gluten cross-reactivity. And they did this analysis and they found the products, the ingredients in foods that mimic gluten's effect on the body. So that individuals that are sensitive to grains or gluten are likely to also be sensitive to these foods. And guess what number one was? It was coffee. So a lot of times people will be like, yeah, I drink my BP coffee and I put my MCT oil in there and I feel good, but then I also feel kind of funky and my stomach churns. Well, it may be that you're having a reaction to the proteins in the coffee, and you can circumvent that as long as you don't have sensitivities to stimulants with this product, which is ProLab Advanced Caffeine. Now, not to be confused with ProLab's other caffeine, which is just their regular caffeine anhydrous. This caffeine comes from green tea, guarana, white tea, and a host of other natural compounds. It's also got, I believe, a little bit of cacao extract in there, the chocamine, and has a mood elevating effect, along with it's also a powerful nootropic, and it's really inexpensive. So you can do one of these along with a bunch of water, and you don't have to expose yourself to some of those proteins that you get in coffee. Next is Keto OS. This is pure therapeutic ketones, which are exogenous beta-hydroxybutyrate. And for those of you that are familiar with a ketogenic diet or ketosis, when you fast, when you restrict carbohydrates for around 24 hours, your body starts producing these energy molecules called ketones. And ketones are kind of like the fourth macronutrient, where you've got proteins, carbohydrates, fats. Ketones are also an energy-producing molecule. And what this company Pruvit has done is they've created these exogenous ketones that they don't necessarily move you into ketosis, but they do allow you to reap a lot of the cognitive benefits of having elevated ketone levels in your body. And so what I will do is I'll usually in the morning, I'll take some ProLab Advanced Caffeine, anywhere from like 100 to 200 milligrams. Each tablet is 200 milligrams. I'll do that with a ton of water to hyperhydrate right after I wake up and have been, sleeping for 7, 8, 9 hours. And I don't usually get 9 hours, but a man can dream, right? And then I will get a fasted workout in, do some sort of physical activity, get outside. I'll wait until I start getting hungry, if it's a fasting day, and then I will make a keto cocktail. And the base of that keto cocktail is a packet of the Keto OS and 1 tablespoon of Perillo-Captri, which is the C8 pure caprylic acid form of MCT oil. So it's different than a lot of the MCT oils that you guys may be familiar with. This is just the C8 isomer. It more effectively crosses the blood-brain barrier. It's what you would find in like a bulletproof brain octane. I personally use the Perillo version. I think you get more for your money, and I like it. But who knows? I'm always changing the supplements that I'm taking, and nothing is set in stone. So that's what I'm using right now. And that is the base form of the keto cocktail. If you want more information on the keto cocktail, I've got it in the Biohacker's Guide. Then moving along, we've got what is probably my favorite overall nootropic formulation, and that is Life Extension's Cognitex with pregnenolone and Brain Shield. And this has a number of different compounds, the main one being alpha GPC, which is a choline source, and it's very effective at improving cognitive function and just helping you to feel more mentally sharp. So if you were only going to get one nootropic. If you're already leveraging caffeine, I would then go with some of the Life Extension Cognitex, because you're going to get the benefits of multiple different compounds that have been shown to ward off cognitive decline, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and help you just function better cognitively. Then we have dopamine. Dopamine is an extract from wild green oat, and there is a prescription called selegiline or Deprenyl that is a dopamine agonist and has been used for a long time. There's a lot of research showing selegiline and Deprenyl to have positive effects on extending lifespan, particularly in rats and other animal models. There's a good basis to support that it will have that same effect in humans, but because of human lifespan is so long, a lot of those studies have not taken place. The cool thing is that dopamine and this wild oat extract mimics a lot of the same benefits of selegiline and Deprenyl without needing to take a prescription drug. So I recommend, in terms of dosages, Cognitex, 3 soft gels a day with food. Missed that, wanted to come back and make sure you got that. Dopamine, 1 tablet a day with food, and you are good. Then we have Butcher's Broom, improves mental acuity, another herbal formulation, helps with circulatory benefits to the brain, cross-hemispheric communication, and just 1 of those a day, and you're good. It's pretty inexpensive too. You get a lot. 1 bottle will last you a very long time. Bacopa, which many of you have heard of. This is by Planetary Herbals. I will take 3 to 4 of these a day with food. And again, all of these, without sounding redundant, they're all going to improve cognition, mental acuity, brain power. So I don't want to say the same things every time. They work along different physiological and biochemical pathways, but the end result is the same. The key is for you to run some experiments and find out what works for you. So this is Planetary Herbals, Bacopa, 3 to 4 of those a day with food. Now extra strength grapeseed extract, again, circulatory and antioxidant benefits that have the impact of improving cognition. Each capsule is 250 milligrams. I take 500 milligrams a day. I notice that feel better overall, mood is elevated, brain feels sharper. I know people that take around 750, even 1,000 plus milligrams a day. I stay right around the 500 mark. So find out, I would start with 250, see how you feel, go up to 500, see if symptoms improve and you notice even greater benefit, heightened optimization, and decide from there. So 1 or 2 a day with food. Then we've got L-carnitine tartrate. Now I've experimented with all of the different forms of L-carnitine, the acetyl L-carnitine arginate, acetyl L-carnitine, the traditional form, acetyl L-carnitine, or just regular L-carnitine tartrate. This is more commonly used in bodybuilding and the fitness worlds because it increases energy production in the muscles. For me, I like it better than acetyl L-carnitine. I sometimes do swap L-car in. I sometimes do use Life Extension acetyl L-carnitine arginate, but this is what I'm using right now and what I'm enjoying. I take 1 or 2 of these 1,000 milligram tablets a day with food, and this has the added benefit of increasing energy and is a beneficial supplement there. But there's a very direct corollary between your energy production and your brain function. So what facilitates an improvement in one will also assist the other. Here we've got Go-To Cola. I take the organic India brand, just 1 a day. Again, another herb that's been found to be helpful for cognition. I like this brand out of the ones I've tried. This is my favorite. Then we have vinpocetine from the periwinkle plant, which increases cerebral metabolism and blood flow and circulation to the brain. I usually recommend trying to get to around 30 to 40 milligrams of vinpocetine a day. Now, I take some other supplements that contain vinpocetine, so I supplement those supplements with another 20 milligrams of this to get me to around 30 to 40 milligrams a day. And I find that's the sweet spot where I really feel like everything is clicking. I try not to go above 40, and if I'm good with 30, spending more time there. But that is vinpocetine. This brand is Source Naturals, and I would get your total vinpocetine intake to around 30 milligrams a day. Then we have these two. These are both different forms of green tea. This one is a green tea formulation that contains other compounds like pomegranate and broccoli and turmeric. And this is just organic matcha. I like taking green tea in its whole unadulterated form. I don't want the EGCG extract, which can have some estrogenic effects in the body. And I do believe that nature provides polyphenols and bioflavonoids and antioxidants in a naturally synergistic and balanced format when you consume things in their whole food form. When you start extracting a lot of them, you can make yourself susceptible to some unwanted consequences. Not in all cases, but definitely in some. And we talk about this a little bit in the testosterone video, but green tea like EGCG, even turmeric, and a number of other compounds, reishi mushroom, can be 5-alpha reductase inhibitors. And what 5-alpha reductase does is it takes testosterone and it converts it to DHT. Now, you may know that DHT is an androgen that causes you to bald, but it also helps you to feel increased levels of motivation, libido, drive, and function, the things that make us men. If you're consuming too high amounts of EGCG, then you could also be adversely affecting your androgens and your hormonal levels. Same thing with turmeric. But keeping that in mind, you can find the right balance. You can consume these in their whole food form and still reap the cognitive benefits. I will do sometimes 3 capsules of the organic matcha on an empty stomach. I will sometimes do 1 capsule of the Pama tea a day. This also has a lot of supporting research behind it for fighting cancer. And yeah, those 2 are great supplements for cognition as well. Then last but not least of the things that I brought with, we have Noopept, which functions like the racetams. Many people who have dove into nootropics are familiar with piracetam, aniracetam, oxiracetam, and that family of compounds that increase verbal recall, cross-hemispheric communication between the right and left side of the brain, and improve cognition. Piracetam is the longest withstanding nootropic. It's available as a prescription in Europe. The downside is that usually when people start taking piracetam, aniracetam, oxiracetam, and some sort of choline source, whether that's choline that they're getting from organic free-range eggs, or choline from alpha GPC, or CDP choline, or choline bitartrate, whatever it is, you're trying to strike a balance between essentially the racetam causes your brain to burn through choline at a faster rate. So you need to supplement exogenous choline in order to make up for that. Otherwise, you're going to at some point run out and get too low. So you need to find this balance between choline intake and your racetam dosage, whether that's piracetam, oxiracetam, or aniracetam. And on a long enough timeline, usually months out, people stop experiencing the same benefits, and they may even crash where they're feeling really tired, lethargic, depressed. And it's because it's so hard to strike that balance with the racetams in your choline source. Noopept functions like a racetam, but it is not technically a racetam. And it allows you, whereas with piracetam, for example, you may need to take 1,600 milligrams a day along with 300 to 600 milligrams of alpha GPC to find that balance and experience some of the nootropic benefits. Well, with Noopept, you can take as little as 30 milligrams a day. I take this powder from Lift Mode sublingually, and I'll try to aim for just about 30 milligrams. I'll put it sublingually. I'll hold it under my tongue. It doesn't taste amazing, but that's okay. It's a small price to pay. You can take it with some vitamin B12 methylcobalamin or adenosylcobalamin or hydroxycobalamin lozenges, and it tastes a little bit better. And I let it dissolve sublingually, and I notice an hour, 2 hours later, I usually feel a little bit more mental acuity and sharpness. So that is Lift Mode, Noopept, 30 milligrams a day sublingually. And those are some pretty good compounds. Those are the ones that I brought with. Now, on the prescription side, the pharmacologics, you've got selegiline or Deprenyl, which I mentioned. The dosage that's commonly used is about 5 milligrams, whether that's every other day, every third day. Some people take it every day, but I don't recommend going that route with dopamine agonists unless you're dealing with something that is correlated with cognitive decline or Parkinson's. The best thing that you can do is, if you need to increase your dopamine levels, is take some more dopamine precursors and neuromodulators, get some more full spectrum sunlight to your eyes, and take that route out instead. Then, of course, there are the amphetamines, the Adderall, the Vyvanse, the Dexedrine, the Ritalin. Those come with unwanted health consequences. They can be beneficial in the short term and just helping you crank some stuff out when you need to, but it's everything in balance. So you want to keep in mind that no, it's not something that you want to use long term. It can come with unwanted health consequences. It can put you at increased risk for cardiac events, but they are tools that people use to enhance cognition. Usually that starting dosage is 5 to 10 milligrams. I know people that have taken much higher than that. It's, again, not recommended, but my job is to not play your father or your parent. I'm to tell you what's working, what is effective, and then you can decide what is right for you. There's modafinil and Provigil. That was originally used by fighter pilots to help them stay up all night and stay focused. I don't like it. It makes me, I've tried it a couple times. It makes me feel jittery and anxious. There are some people in this community that are proponents of modafinil and Provigil. I am not one of them, but I wanted to mention it so people weren't asking about it. I have tried it. I don't like it. I know most other people that have tried it do not like it either. So I don't know. There's a lot of hype behind it. In my opinion, it's unfounded. Then there's bupropion or Wellbutrin, around 150 milligrams a day. That was originally designed to help people quit smoking. Then they realized it had benefits in elevating mood and increasing libido in some folks. It does have a slightly stimulatory effect, but around 150 milligrams a day can sometimes give people a little bit of a mood boost, help with increasing activity around the dopaminergic pathways in the brain. And so that's effective as well. So we've talked about most of the important ones. Some of the other things, L-theanine, sun-theanine form. 150 to 300 milligrams a day is the sweet spot. I'd make sure to get the sun-theanine, which is 99% pure. A lot of the L-theanines on the market aren't as effective. L-theanine is an amino acid. It's found in green tea, but when you get the sun-theanine extract, it increases alpha brainwave, production of alpha brainwaves, which you get when you meditate, which you get when you pray, even when you take steps to get yourself in a state of gratitude. And that effective dosage is 150 to 300 milligrams a day. I like Doctor's Best brand a lot. Natural Factors has a good one that's chewable, and any of those work. And then the bioactive B vitamins, your B6, your B12. The ones that I usually go to are Thorne MethylGuard Plus or BioPure Core. And right now, those are the main nootropics that I'm working with and playing with and optimizing. It's a great starting point for you. And I recommend if you only were to do 2, if you're able to tolerate caffeine, get yourself the ProLab Advanced Caffeine and the Life Extension Cognitex. Find your effective dosage of the caffeine. Drink it with a bunch of water because it is a diuretic. It will cause you to become more dehydrated. And then the Cognitex. Some other ones that sometimes help: creatine, particularly creatine hydrochloride in the form of concrete, creatine, Creapure, creatine monohydrate by Jarrow. Both of those also help to increase cognition. And that is the quick and dirty deep dive into nootropics. I appreciate you watching. I hope you found that helpful. And if you want help creating a nootropic stack that's customized for you, then reach out and we can talk about possibly working together or getting together for a weekend intensive. Again, thank you for watching. I look forward to hanging out with you in another video.